Welcome back down to Faure Street in Paarl, where this Paarl derby between Paarl Gimnasium and Paarl Boys High School is going away of Paarl Boys, who are leading 10 points to 3. This was in the first minute. George Lawrence's charge down being affected by his opposite man, and then Kanya and Kusana controlled it well enough to get over for the only score in this game. Good work by the live wire number 8, and that broke the shackles early on and put Paarl Boys on the board. Then it was the form of Gustav Marais overshooting the gun that handed Saliers a second kickable attempt, and he faded it in from left to right. That gave the men in blue and white a 10-0 lead. In the hooker, MC de Jong being penalised at the breakdown, and it was Theo Boshoff who pulled 3 points back for Paarl Gim, the only points of the first half for the men from Paarl Gim. And the stats, well, handling errors 3 to the men from Gimnasium to the solitary from Paarl Boys, but it's the tackles made 34 to 28, and that stat is proving more and more in favour of Paarl Boys as they're carrying the ball and tiring out their opposition. And as you see the crowd, well, they're enjoying a beautiful winter's afternoon in Paarl, in the biggest schoolboy derby in the world between these intertown schools. And of course, this is the 100th year of the derby being played between Paarl Boys and Paarl Gim. And of course, another exciting 35 minutes awaits us to see who in victorious, and if Paarl Boys can break the drought that has haunted them for the last 5 years. I'll shake the monkey off the back. Well, Christoph Lotte at halftime was pretty animated in his talk to his charges, and they need to find a mechanism to get themselves back into this game. Well, it was a lot more calm and collected by Sean Erasmus and Elmo Wolfart. More of the same would be on the menu for the men from Paarl Boys.
I think what is important for Paarl Boys is having a look at those statistics too. Their lineouts are not functioning the way they should, and they've given away quite a number of penalties, so they'll want to certainly curb those where possible. As Rion Lombard gets ready to start the second half. They're playing into the sun on this occasion in the second half of Paarl Boys High. And the sun does dip somewhat here, so it can be quite difficult for Jean-Luc Saliers and Tariq February and Eugene Johannes. Stop! The 3 men at the back. Kasana. Now Jean-Luc Saliers decides to go with a hoist. It's a pretty good kick, and well, he nearly took it himself, but it's bounced backwards and favorably for Bradley Thane. Manny Rest looking to ignite the back line. He's taken over the scrum half role right now. Kick downfield towards the corner flag is a very good kick, this. Beyond Van Sale, that's an even better one. Bounces on the touchline, so that'll be out. And a very fine angle.
Wonderful execution by the young man who's playing in the fly position for Paarl Gim. That's a super effort by the pivot. Oh, this is the area they need to sort out to Paarl Boys.
2 South African schools locks, of course. And a titanic struggle that's on the way there.
No one touched it.
So Paarl Gymnasium coming away with it. The long pass from Van Sale, bringing in his back line there in the form of George Lawrence and Charles de Toy. There's all sorts of difficulties for Heinrich Stoneman. He's not being protected in the scrum half position enough by his forwards, but they've won the penalty, which will bring them some measure of relief.
And playing it back. Number 18.
They'll have to move here. He's in the middle of the long jump pit is Francois Pretorius, and
he goes to the narrow side. The players are all saying, can't we take it this side, sir? Give us a better angle.
Gee whiskers, it looks like a messy crease that the bowlers have used up pretty substantially in wet conditions if you were playing cricket. But just in an offside position again. This time it was a form of Manny Ras. And Paarl Gym have managed to forge off some territory and find themselves in that Paarl boys half. I want to make it count from line-out time.
Well, their lineouts have been better than Paarl Boishaai today. This time to NJ Hayes. That's much better ball for them. Running onto it there was Vian van Zyl. Got quickly over the advantage line. That's where you've really got to put pressure on Paarl Boishaai. Johan Grobler being grabbed across field by that tackle. Thoman. Rowan Harman managing to hold on to it. Still got the possession, have Boishaai.
Nummer.
Holmes van Ryan. This is a better passage of play for them as Miller Ace takes it in. And Van Zyl looking to probe that corner flag. Doesn't get the favourable bounce. Yes, Saliers. The missed tackle on him allows him to kick it downfield. And it's a very good kick, that.
Some wonderful mopping up work by the fullback in Jean-Luc Saliers. But Paarl Gym need to sort out their attack. They're bereft of ideas. Their movement is lateral. It's allowing Boishaai to get off the line and make a positive hit, eating up the space on defence. And the rhythm is just not there for the men who are dressed in maroon, yellow and green.
Well, you see those line-out statistics. Don't make pretty reading. Well, Paarl Gymnasium going over the ball, so a penalty. Quick explanation from Francois Pretorius. So Rayon Lombard, it'll be with the penalty attempt. This will push Paarl Gymnasium back into their own half of the field, and I think that's one of the keys to potential success for them, is to try and put pressure on Paarl Boishaai in their half of the field.
Another missed line out, and then it was Creer at the back who managed to snaffle the ball away.
Nice mop-up work there from MC de Jong. Thane. Lombard. Good straight running on this occasion from Paarl Boishaai. Oh, the attempted kick was charged down, blocked by a boot.
Well, Gavin, somebody needs to do something special in this game. Look like two boxers slugging it out, waiting for somebody to throw a haymaker so they can get in there and deal the knockout blow. But somebody needs to ignite this contest, because at the moment it's just being played between the two 20-meter areas. And to boot, it's been a long time since any score has happened.
Not great ball that from Paarl Gymnasium, but Bradley Thane looked to take it in, but I think it's been turned over again. So Thoman waiting for it, Stoneman rather. Now it suddenly pops out on the side of Paarl Gymnasium and Paarl Boishaai, and a charge down. So a little bit of panic play one senses from both teams at the moment. Again, as we said earlier, we've had so many low-scoring encounters or low-scoring margins over the years in these games that have been played. Both teams know that any mistake could mean the difference between winning and losing. Ruben de Villiers eventually gets a clean ball in the line out. It's been a courageous effort from the Paarl Gymnasium pack of forwards. They're up against a really, really well-organised and solid pack, bearing the colours of blue and white. De Jong goes down. Have they held on to it? Bradley Thane waiting.
When the ball carrier shifted off on the other side, moving forward.
Well, that's that blue and white juggernaut that they've been waiting to get going the whole afternoon. They found de Villiers and moulded 20 meters up the field. As we see Paarl Boishaai starting to get the ascendancy up front. Well, you wouldn't expect anything less between the top two schools in South Africa. war of attrition being played here at Faure Street.
Another good scrum there for Bradley Thane to get his backs going. Manny Rass looking to run straight. It's better play that from Paarl Gimnasium, looking to catch Paarl Boishaai behind the advantage line. Such an elusive runner is Manny Rass. Scored that hat-trick against Eastern Province in the Craven Week final. Now taken away, but yeah, someone to pass to. Theo Boshoff. Boshoff's done well. He's shrugged off the tackle of Tariq February. That's a glorious score that for Paarl Gimnasium. Slightly against the run of play, but they're showing a lot of courage.
Well, elation in our fellow commentators with Kobus Visser punching there as Paarl Gim have brought themselves back into this game via some brilliant work by George Lawrence. He found a flying winger in the form of Boshoff, an intercept coming from Thane, great offload, and then the handoff was to boot from Theo Boshoff, who managed to get in for Paarl Gim's first of the afternoon. Thane running laterally, not releasing the ball in time, and great work by George Lawrence and Theo Boshoff in tandem. And that's the mechanism that has brought Gimmies back into this contest.
Well, they certainly are back in this contest. Once again showing just how tightly contested these matches have been over the years. And reputation counts for nothing.
Well, you saw that stat, 1 out of 3 for Theo Boshoff. He needs to knock this over. And it's all even Stevens going into the last 25 minutes of this contest.
Swinging it in from the right. Boshoff with all the points for Paarl Gimnasium, and it's been such a long time since we actually saw some points on the board, and it's come again courtesy of a turnover.
Great reading of the play by George Lawrence. Super skills, and the handoff came. February's attempt was rather porous, and he's allowed Boshoff to get in for the equaling score.
Well, a really good catch by Paarl Gimnasium. They seem to be buoyed by getting some points on the board. It took a long time coming. That's not a bad kick, that. Wow. If Keenan Abrams had just kept his eye on the ball, he would have had a clean catch.
From the box kick, there were no blockers in place that allowed Paarl Gim to pull through. Unfortunately for them, it was Keenan Abrams who knocked it on. Nobody being assertive and taking responsibility of catching the ball out of there. And there's been a definite momentum shift in this game, Gavin.
Well, this is the test then of what we've said all along. Paarl Boishaai having the necessary patience and accuracy and being calm under pressure. They certainly are under pressure at the moment.
And as you mentioned, they've come into this game unbeaten in 2015, but results count for absolutely naught. And the pressure is firmly and squarely on the men in blue and white at the moment.
So 97 matches have been played between these two teams since 1915. And 11 of them have been drawn. Are we going to see another draw? 10 points all, it is at the moment. Thane, surprise ball for Tariq February. Thane. And to Ruben de Villiers.
Play on, ripped.
And that ball's been ripped away from him. So at the moment, the waiting is in favour of Paarl Gimnasium. Cilier's kick, that's gone back in field. Have the players advanced too early? No, the referee says it's fine. But here comes Vian van Zyl. He's been running brilliantly, this young fly half. And now chance for Keenan Abrams. Just 60 kilograms of him as he flicks it back in field. But it's a knock-on, so referee waits for advantage. There is none. And Paarl Boishaai have another opportunity to get out of jail.
Well, it's turnover ball that's killing Paarl Boys at the moment. They're under immense pressure. And this young fluff, Vian van Zyl, is starting to pull the strings. Wonderful ball over the top to Keenan Abrams. He got the pass back inside and van Zyl just couldn't hold on. But it's the men from Paarl Gym who are putting the men in blue and white under the cosh at the moment.
Crouch.
All credit to Christoph Lotte and Helman Lehmann on the coaching staff. They've obviously had some wise words at half-time that has brought this Paarl Gym team out, firing in the second half. Fine. Jean-Louis Lefrangi caught in possession, looking to set up the opportunity for Lombard to pump it downfield.
Use that.
Desperately need to get out of their 22. They're not quite going to do that, but some measure of relief then for the blue and whites.
They're still under pressure there inside their own 22-meter area. And the jubilation of early on for those dressed in blue and white has turned to a little bit of concern in the second half. Of course, you touched on Christoph Lotte and Helmut Lehmann. They know how to win these big games. They've had experience of coming on top for the last 4 or so years.
Krobela, again the line-out functions well.
Play on.
Van Zyl doing lots of stepping and lots of running from fly half. It's because he's getting better quality possession. Stoneman. Abrams gone into the scrum half position.
Could we see a drop kick from Boshoff?
So Boshoff looks for the drop, and that's been charged down. It's all hands now. You can play it once it's touched somebody else.
Touch by blue.
Cilliers
Got it, stop low.
has decided to go straight down the middle of the field. Was that a wise move? Van Zyl relishing the opportunity to have a bit more space to work in.
Maul.
Paarl Boishaai, probably what's going through their head is we've got to tighten this game up a little bit more. It's getting too loose and it's running away from us.
Well, they've got out of jail there because their kicking is rather aimless. Lawrence opting to step on the inside and being swallowed up by numerous Paarl Boys defenders. But it's a kick chase and their kick execution that is really letting Paarl Boys down in the second half. Not hitting grass and they're not getting a decent chase line, Gavin, and they're putting themselves under immense pressure.
Just saw some rather worried looks there on the faces of the spectators. All of them with sunglasses on, of course, because they're looking straight into the sun.
Crouch. Bind.
So where does the magic come from then from either side? Well, at the moment, there's 15 men from Paarl Gym who are ready to rock and roll. Most important thing for them is not to concede points, of course. So the kick downfield now from Van Zyl. Back in field, Bradley Thane thinks about looking to run. Was a bit hesitant at the time, but he's done well to set up the move. There's certainly plenty of Paarl Boishaai men on this near side, but they decide to go open field, courtesy of Vickers Groenewald.
Roll clear. Roll clear. Ek verstaan, maar jy het nog steeds 'n invloed op die bal wat wil uitkom, okay?
Their runners are one-off. That's allowing
Go with the head
the
bend.
poacher or the fetcher to get on the ball and try turn it over. However, in this
Ek
instance,
het sympathie, maar die bal kon vinnig kom so.
Kobler didn't roll away quick enough.
So Lombard making absolutely sure of his touch finder, and he'll be hoping that they can get their line-out functioning again, Paarl Boishaai.
The pick and go came in from Leo Creer, and then it looked like Harmon had all the rights to the ball. But he was penalised, and another line-up goes a miss for Boishaai.
Stoneman. Downfield from Van Zyl, and favourable bounce.
He's playing the game in the right areas is Vian van Zyl, keeping Paarl Boys pinned in their own half. And it just looks like that the energy levels are on the side of Gimmies. Paarl boys look a little lethargic at the moment.
Interesting move as well, and I'm not sure how permanent it is, but Björn van Zijl's moved to the fullback position, and his fullback Theo Boshoff has moved to fly half, and that might just be for some lineouts from a defensive perspective, or there might be some other reason. The key thing, he's one of the key players for Paarl Gimnasium, is Björn van Zyl. At the moment, I'm pretty sure this is what Paarl Boishaai want to do. They want to keep this game, tighten it up as best as they can. It's when they play their best rugby. Lombard. Step inside.
No tackle.
And no tackle, says the referee. So Tariq February up and about.
Tacklers!
Well, there's been a lot of competition on the ground, but I'm afraid that's a penalty. If ever there was one.
You've got to let go and you're off your feet playing the ball back.
Clear and concise from referee Pretorius. You've got to let the ball go and you're off your feet. And now it's handed an opportunity for Jael Cilliers to put Paarl Boys' nose in front yet again in this contest. It's ebbed and flowed. It's everything that you would have wanted in a derby. And there you see the penalty stats. 8 in favour of Boishaai, 6 to Gimmies. Good work initially by Lawrence. He wrapped his paws around the ball, but then went to ground. He's off his feet and he just throws it back out the back of the ruck. He's handed Cilliers an opportunity now to put Paarl Boishaai ahead in this contest.
One conversion and one penalty, successfully so from Cilliers. This is his most important kick of the game. He's got the distance. And he's straight.
Oh, what a kick under pressure by Cilliers. And he's managed to breathe life back into this Boishaai challenge. As the crowd comes alive again, those dressed in blue and white. And as he kicked it, he pulled up with a cramp in his calf.
I just wonder if it is a cramp and not something else. He really is battling it a little bit. He's down at the moment. Will that breathe some new fire into Paarl Boishaai? That successful penalty kick. That ball doesn't go out. Maybe Paarl Boishaai wanted it to go out. They want to tighten this game up where possible.
Not inside the 22, play on. Tackle! Lost feet. Come! Use it. Play on. I didn't see things there.
Again, the kick's not a great one. And another man's down. Is he also down with cramp? So that's two players from Paarl Boishaai, not part of this mix at the moment. Oh, and the scrum's going to belong to Paarl Boishaai. Wouldn't Paarl Gim have loved possession with two men down?
Well, a much better kick chase from Paarl Boys. And they've won the turnover. As we see Jean-Luc Cilliers getting back to his feet. And then you see the scrum stats. Well, 8 out of 10 from Paarl Gim and 2 out of 2 from the men from Paarl Boys. A wonderful tackle coming in from Urjan Johannes. He's managed to win his side of put in from scrum time.
Change for Paarl Boishaai, bringing on Jandre Grobler.
Kan ons aanspeel?
Ron Lombard shifts out one.
So met ander woorde, daar is 13 minute.
So it's I just wonder now. No, in fact, he's gone back off the field as Jandre Grobler. He had come on, and that was with the possibility that someone might have been down injured and not come back. So that's as things stand. Jean-Louis Lagrange's back on his feet, also suffering from cramp. A long pass to Lombard. They were looking to perhaps pump it downfield. Here's February. Such an elusive runner, but well brought down. Also on field is Christo Sardi at scrum half in place of Bradley Thane. In the meanwhile, in the background, you can just see them walking off the field there. Jean-Luc Cilliers, the fullback for Paarl Boishaai, is going to leave the field. Kramp's got the better of him. Lombard. He's done really well, has Lombard. Now Manny Ras, he'll have to take over the primary role in this back line. It's something he'll relish. Super running then by the centre three-quarter. So many guys seem to be battling with cramp at the moment that you're not too sure if you should pass it to him. Christo Sardi's pass going out to the backline players. Now the big chase and the big run. It's Jacques Burger that's also snuck onto the field. Lombard, a long pass. February, back in field he comes. Good play from him, Anand Kasani. Kasani's foot was on the touchline, so it's going to be a line out this for Paarl Gym. And it's ebbing and flowing, but it's back and forth at the moment. There's a pile of players down, well, not so many, not a pile at the moment, just 3 players down with what might well be cramp.
That man in shot, Kanyan Kusani, has been impressive all afternoon. He's carried with purpose. He's run hard and straight whenever the opportunity has presented itself. He's been a real standout in this Paarl Boys side.
So Ryan Lombard has moved into the fullback position from flyer for Paarl Boishaai, a position he knows well and which he played in last year's encounter. But at the moment, they're just trying to get a few, 2 or 3 players back on their feet.
Of course, there's no injury time, there's no stoppage time. In schoolboy rugby, it's a clock that keeps running, so both sides will want to get on their feet, particularly Paarl Gym.
So, first prize was winning that line out, which they've done well, have Paarl Gym. Eager to run at their opponents, even from close to their own 22. Really are doing it successfully at the moment. Ernest van Ryan, the captain of their side, was the last carry of that ball. Really has got his men going. So, blindside they go. Can they find their way through? Again, desperate tackling from Paarl Boishaai. It's not the same game as in the second half.
Tacklers!
The little pop pass there, unfortunately, not going to hand. So he has another chance now for Paarl Boishaai. Which way does this ball bounce? It bounces favourably for Vian van Zyl, but he's caught in possession. It just shows you, if you don't have the accuracy you want, this is what can happen. In all sorts of trouble at the moment are Paarl Gymnasium, but can they hang on to the possession and do it legally? It might have been turned over, this ball. It certainly has been turned over. So Paarl Boishaai with a chance now. They've got extra men here. Back in field goes Grobler, or rather Burger. Just up short, Sardi. He's waiting to see what to do with it, but it'll be the big men probably that'll pick up. No, not to pick up, but certainly to charge. No, Sardi goes on his own. That ball was a little slow in coming out.
Use that.
They haven't lined up their big forwards initially. Have they got over the line? It's very close.
No.
It's going to be a scrum, but still the pressure now is coming from the #1 team in the country.
Well, they've lifted their game up, Paarl Boys. Hence the reason why they find themselves in the top position in the country. And they are red hot on attack with a little less than 8 minutes to go in this contest. They want to drive it home and try finish it off now.
Last man up from that last ruck was Manny Ras, the centre three-quarter, who's had a super game for Paarl Boishaai. Such a productive player. Of course, with all the changes that they've had in their back line. Jean-Reg Grobler, who's in the fly half position at the moment. Jacques Burger.
Ball came out the tunnel. Ball came out the tunnel.
Well, as we see the shadows begin to lengthen, one has to bear the question if Paarl Gim's reign on holding over their more illustrious opponents in Boishaai is coming to an end.
That ball coming straight out of the tunnel, so they'll have to put it in again. Well, the last 4 encounters have been won by Paarl Gimnasium, and the one prior to that was drawn, so it's been a fair drought this for Paarl Boishaai. Can they make something of this? This would surely finish things off if they could score a try and convert it here.
Kanye Nkosani's got a little bit of a blind side to work with here. If you can get a right shoulder from Vickers Groenewald, who's moved into the tight head position, you can have a real crack at Keenan Abrams and try and work something magic down the blind side. And this won't suit Paarl Gim at all. 2 minutes have been soaked up from resetting the scrum.
Paarl Boishai's best player today, Jean-Luc Cilliers, the fullback, is off with cramp. Nkosani with the pick up at the back. He's swamped by Paarl Gymnasium players, and they've done really well to win that penalty. They got onto him in no time at all, and he was forced to hold on to the ball on the ground. So Theo Boshoff looked for some relief here and found a fair amount of it. Still, one feels the pressure is on Paarl Gymnasium.
Brilliant defensive work by Van As and Mullais in tandem, as we see a plethora of replacements coming on for Gimmies in the form of Square and one of the loose
Janus
forwards.
Swart come on. Johan Grobler. Short line out.
Mole, line out over.
So the pop pass out, and desperate times now for Paarl Gymnasium. Oh, it's going to be a scrum. Paul has got forward, says the referee. Francois Pretorius. There's another one of the replacements, Taik Square. Yeah.
Crouch.
Well, last opportunity now for Paarl Gim. They need to find a mechanism to turn this ball over and forge off some territory and get themselves into Paarl Boys halfway. The men in blue and white will want to sew this game up now.
Less than 5 minutes left of this match. Surely the next team that scores is going to win this game. Sadi, hot pass back in field. We save fresh legs on the field, but bear in mind all the replacements played in the second team game, so they've had a full run already as Manny Ras looks to fight once again and punch above his weight.
He's trying.
Sadi. Some really big tackling coming in, despite the fact that this game is in its final stages. The commitment of both teams has been exemplary. Once again, Paarl Boishaai, I can feel Gareth as well, are just tightening this game up, and that's really where their strength is laid. And they now have a chance to literally seal this game, one would think. Their primary kicker is off the field in Jean-Luc Cilliers.
I wanted to allude to that. Jean-Luc Cilliers, the man who's normally entrusted with the kicking duties, has now hobbled off with cramp, and it's been left to Jean-Luc Grobler. The tackle came in from Hendrik Starman. Well, he's trapped in there by the Paarl Boys tight forwards. There's no ways he can roll out there. However, the penalty's gone the way of Paarl Boys, and now an opportunity for Grobler to put them 6 points to the good.
Absolutely eating up the time too. He's giving himself a better angle.
Given this game has had all the ingredients that we expected. Both sides have brought their part. It's been physical, it's been uncompromising, and it's going on to the bitter end here. Now this is a massive kick for Grobler. Need to hold his nerve and try put it between the uprights.
Replacement, Jandre Grobler, just come on just now. Has he kicked it far enough? It's straight enough. It's over! What a kick then from the replacement, Jandre Grobler. That might well be the winning kick.
Well, is that the kick that has broken the hearts of Paarl Gim and broken their spirit ultimately? He's held his nerve, has Jandre Grobler, and he's managed to knock it over. And he's put Paarl Gim behind by 6 points.
Well, what incredible commitment, one has to say, from both teams. At the moment, we have another player who's going to be taken off the field, 2 players and a number of others that have had to limp off the field. So the commitment has been there, and great to see. Having said that, of course, Paarl Gimnasium have won the last 4 matches between these 2 schools, and this would be a special occasion for who today are the visitors, Boishaai, and there you can see their followers in absolute full voice.
There's another player who's gone down, just waiting for him to be escorted off the field. Are we in for late drama? An intercept try, well, that happened in 1982. When our fellow commentator Kobus Visser was in Standard 9 in those days. He was telling us about it early on. 16-15 was the score on that day. 16-10 to Paarl boys. Now can they cling on? Paarl will field position and run out the sands of time and emerge victorious in this derby.
Well, if they were all alive, there would be 50 Springboks as well who'd be watching this game. 30 of them on the side of Paarl Gimnasium and 20 of them on the side of Paarl Boishaai. One of them will be Corné Kruger, who holds that special record of having been the only South African schools player to have captained his country as well. We can go through many names. Skalk Burger Jr., who became the 55th Springbok captain last week, along with Andre Pollard, who's the most recent Springbok of Paarl Gimnasium, and of course Frans Malherbe too. We'll remember him, Paul du Plessis, Greg van Schoor on the side of Paarl Boishaai.
And of course, Jean de Villiers, who's making his way back from injury. Isn't it great to see him back on the rugby playing fields of South Africa?
Well, we better mention Bali Swart too, because we might be in trouble if we don't. He, in fact, captained the side when he played with Kobus Visser. I think Kobus looked a little bit downhearted when we asked him who was captain of the side, or was he the captain? He said, no, Bali Swart was. We can't win them all. So Theo Boshoff's kick is a pretty pinpoint one, but the commitment here of Paarl Boishaai in these last couple of minutes is going to be, well, it's not last couple of minutes, it's less than a minute. They just want to hold on to the ball now.
They're just got to be mindful that they can't seal off here.
Will they have players just picking up and driving? They haven't got their tight forward standing off to just carry it up. They've decided to keep it as close as possible to the ruck. In the sands of time,
No hands!
we will hear shortly the final whistle of Francois Pretorius, no doubt. Well, they've won a penalty, Paarl Gim. Is there enough time for them to kick for the corner, win a line out and score a try and convert it? Can they do all of that?
Well, there's time for a line out. Well, he's got a fine touch, first and foremost, as Boshoff.
He's done that, but it's some distance out, isn't it?
Our last chance cafe here for Khamis. Late drama down at Faure Street.
We've spoken about accuracy, sorry about that, and the importance of that now with Grobler's throw-in, the catch in the line out, how they carry the ball up, if that all works for them. Can they make it happen? No commitment in defence initially from, or jumping rather, from Paarl Boishaai. Anything could happen, yeah. Is there going to be a chance? That's a high tackle, so that'll be another penalty. Is there enough time for something to happen here? Carried up by Rowan Homan. One of the big boys, can they get over this line? That's the key thing. Paarl Boishaai, who've tackled so well in this match, but they're going to come back for the penalty. That ball was going to be won at the breakdown point by Paarl Boishaai. They're in front. It's going to be a tap and go, or will they call for a scrum maybe?
Well, no time left on the clock. In my mind, you have to tap and go. Scrum is too risky.
So, Stoneman with a tap and go. You've got to get the big boys positioned in a place where they could thump their way over. Van Sale trying to find his way through. He's not one of the bigger boys. It's all about defence right now for Paarl Boishaai. Do you want to be a kicker if a try is scored in the corner to win it with making sure you get it over? It's all happening here.
Use it.
Again, big charge for the line, but the defence holds of Paarl Boishaai. No mistakes. That's got to be the call. 0 mistakes from Paarl Gym. Again, some ferocious tackling. Rowan Lombard from the fullback position was involved. There's Kasani. But yeah, surely is an opportunity. Well, if they played that ball wide, they might well have got out. They need it quickly, and they need to come to the left-hand side. It's too late now, or is it? Again, good quick regrouping there from Paarl Boishaai defensively. Ruben de Villiers calling on his men. Salman Murat, Andreas van Wyk playing his 47th game for his school and captain of Paarl Boishaai. Here's the chance now. Can they slip through the gap? Well, the tackle's made, and well, everybody's running onto the field, but they can't do that because the game's not over yet. That penalty's got to be taken and the ball kicked out. I don't know if the referee's going to get that chance. Surely not. Well, I can understand elation from Paarl Boishaai. They haven't won yet for 4 years. But their actions here, unfortunately, leave a little bit to be desired.
Oh, what a contest. Elation on the one side, distraught players on the other, as they've given their all. 30-odd players plus replacements. There had to be a winner, and on this occasion it was Paarl Boys who've broken the deadlock, beating Paarl Gym in this derby by 16 points to 10.